Welcome back, friends. Let's head out to the shop. Let's get to work on some winter projects. Beautiful day. Oh, don't let us disturb you, Ramsey. Got a pretty neat project going on today. I'm building a dueling tree for a little pistol practice out here in the man's cave. Let me show you how it's working. Doing pretty good. Got our base going here. Now the first thing you have to determine is what do you want to use for targets. And I've chosen some 6-inch AR 500 plates from Brian Magnum out at Magnum Targets in Arkansas. $69.95 with free 2-day shipping. So now we have to build everything around that. Here's the tree here. I've already kind of got it welded up. Let's go over the components. We're using 2-inch by 1/4 angle iron. Now you can probably get by with 2.5. Matter of fact, I know you can. But this thing, I want it to be pretty heavy duty. We're going to be hitting it with some magnums, and I just want to make sure everything stood up. Inside here, to hold the paddles, here's kind of how these things work. I've got some 1.25" by 1/8" tubing. Now I had to use some angle iron under here. Let me see if I can show you. You can look down there, because I needed to raise this tubing up just a little bit so these targets would fall back to being parallel with the angle. If I would have just welded that tubing in there, the targets would have angled inward like this, and it wouldn't have worked right. So that was a little extra step. If you want to avoid that, you can probably go with, instead of 2-inch, go with 1 3/4, and that way you can weld your tubing directly to the angle iron and it should work out just fine for you. I just kind of messed around in the drop section over at the metal yard till I found something. I took my plate with me and found something that would fit in there pretty nice. And this tree is about 5 feet tall, and it's going to go here on our base, and we're going to have it at about 18 to 20-inch angle. I think I've got an 18-inch angle on that. It's important that it's angled forward so the plates will go back and forth properly. Now, when I designed this thing, I wanted it to be number one, sturdy, able to handle just about any pistol load I threw at it, and I wanted it to be portable. I didn't want to use any tools whatsoever. So the base here is going to be relatively substantial. We're using 1.5" by 3/16, and these particular pieces are 33 inches long. The only reason they're 33 inches long is because I had 66 inches of material laying over in the scrap pile. And so we're going to put about 12 inches on the back feet, and the rest will be up front. You want more out front, because once you hang that 5-foot tree out on an angle, there's going to be quite a bit of weight going forward. This base here is 4-inch channel. The reason I had to go with 4-inch is because this piece here, once I get it cut on an angle like that and I set it in here, I could not get it a weld all the way around at 3 inches. So I had to go find a piece of 4-inch. That wasn't hard at all. Okay, let's take a look at our tree. My particular tree is 5.5 feet tall. Nothing magical about that number other than I could get the 6 targets in there and about 14 inches here left for the base. I also cut the base at the same angle as I did the part that it's going to slip into, so it'll give it a little more surface area. This whole entire area will be sitting against the base rather than just the 2 points. Now I spaced mine at 5 inches apart. There's no magic in that number either, other than that's a number that I can pull these out. If you get these too close together, you won't be able to get them out. So you can go a little closer, or you can go a little farther apart. Just depends on how you want your targets, how far you want them to be apart. So you can see that's about how they'll be. So that's the stand, or that's the tree. Let's go ahead now and look at the other components. Now this piece of metal here was the most difficult piece for me to locate. 2.5 by 2.5 square tubing, 3/16 thick, and my 1.5 inch angle fits in there perfectly, and then you can see that we'll be able to get our little T-handle to go down there. So before you start working on your build list here, you might want to decide how thick you want to make your tree. Mine's 2 inch. Like I said, 2 3/4 might be better. And then go to the metal yard and ask them what will fit nice, and doesn't have to be super tight, but what fits inside that 1 3/4 or 2 inch tubing just right. But if you're going to build it out of 2 inch, 2.5 by 2.5 by 3/16 is what you want. Then I simply drilled. Of course, you want to worry about getting this in your drill press just right, because you want that hole to go straight down and end up right in the center there. So I ground a little flat spot here and here, and what we're going to do is we're going to weld a nut right there, and then we're going to make a little T-handle, and then that way you won't need any tools to assemble this. That's the plan anyway. See how it works. Well, let's check out our progress here. I've got everything welded up. Got the base done. Rear feet are about 12 inches. And so we wanted them longer on the front because that's where most of the weight is forward on this. You can see our angle. And we are angled at about 18 degrees. A lot of people recommend anywhere from 15 to 20. So I went ahead and kind of split the difference. We're at 18 degrees here. And I'm hoping that we'll be able to move these plates with the 22 long rifle. If not, my plan is to just prop up the front feet, and we'll change the angle of this, set it up a little more upright, and it should move those plates back and forth with the 22 long rifle. We'll have to test that out. Check it out, girlfriends. We're all painted up and ready for a day on the range. It's amazing how a few coats of paint make something look really good. We've got our 3-piece dueling tree all completed and ready for some range work. We've got our base, our 5.5 foot tree, and our 6 AR500 plates. This turned out really well. I'm really proud of myself, considering I'm not a welder, nor do I play one on TV. And of course the black paint covers up anything that looked really bad. So this particular design, I think, is about as simple as you can get. Some angle iron, some tubing, and these just slip in and out real easy. Don't need to pull any pins, don't need any rods going down through the center of it. Don't need any tools. We're just going to take some grease, put it up here on the top of this tubing, help these things flip back and forth. I went ahead and I was really wanting this thing to be good and stiff and sturdy, so I put in 2 of these T-handles to hold that angle iron in. 5.5 feet of angle plus 6 plates, that's quite a bit of weight, plus it's tilting forward 18 degrees, so there's a lot hanging out there off of the front. I've seen a lot of these where people just stick them down in there, and when they hit the plate, it's just moving all around the tree is, and I just didn't care for it. So that's what I decided to do, and I think it'll work out really good. We got all of our sharp edges ground off. Don't want anybody to get scratched or cut up. And so we're all ready to take it out for a little spin out on the range. So there you have it, folks. I enjoyed building this, and I enjoyed doing a little video here for you to show you how you can do one of these for yourself too. Just a little bit of money and a little bit of time outside in the barn. So until next time, you guys be safe. We hope to see you down the road. Adios.